That song now, man. I don't know where they got that song from. I don't know where they got it from. What's going on, everybody? Welcome out to another episode of That's Funny to Me. I am your host, Alton Walker. We hope that you had a great week. Oh, man. We got a lot to talk about this week. A lot is going on in our news. And, of course, you know, I brought in my comedic experts. I got to give it up for my panel. Give it up one time for Marvin Hunter. Marvin Hunter, how you doing, man?
Good, dog. Good, bro. Yeah, what's going on, everybody?
That's all you got. What's going on here? All right. Next up, we got Rita Brent up in the building. Rita Brent up in the building. I'm trying to tell you, man.
It didn't look lit, man.
We got my Nigerian prince, Wellington Ojukwu.
Power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people. Amen.
And we got my good friend. You know he tried to get y'all teachers paid more money. Give it up for Hank Disson.
That's all I need you to do. Vote, people. Just go vote. That's it. That's what this is about.
I'm mad you freezing up so quick. You must,
my Wi-Fi.
I don't know where you at.
You know what? You know what?
In Teddy Riley house.
Let me tell you something. In my house, there was so much other stuff y'all could be exposed to. I have a law that sings every time he's in the room, shuffling his feet. Pop, pop, huh? Then my son yelling at his PlayStation. Get through there. Yo, we on. So I have nowhere. I have nowhere.
Hey,
I'm right in front of the bathroom.
What's your father say now? What he doing?
Hey, put a shirt on, man. Get away from the butter with your shirt on. A little salmon.
So we got a lot to talk about, and so in a short period of time. So I just want to jump on into it, man. Dave Chappelle put out a special, and you know, we already been having this discussion of should celebrities speak up, should they not speak up because they're not well or savvy about the information when it comes to Black America. How did y'all feel about his special? First, let's talk about, as comedians, how did y'all feel about it? And we can start with Marvin, because Marvin, you're the one that kind of texted everybody about it. What you think about it?
I loved it. It yet again, he has showed us what it is to be fearless, because he didn't even go on there and try to be funny. He just has something to say. And as comedians, dealing with that anxiety, you know, being on stage and everything that's going on, when you get to his level, he's on stage like a soldier. He's fearless. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And it's very inspiring.
Yeah. Read what you thought about it.
It felt more like a State of the Union address. You know, I don't remember laughing too much. I was just so tuned in to what he was saying and wanting to hear his wisdom. If any celebrity should be speaking on political or social matters, it's Dave Chappelle, because he has established himself as a person who can give you an articulate, educated opinion. He's done research. He's not just, this is not a 140 character tweet he's given us. You know, he's a history teacher. He's a comedian. And I was impressed with it just because it was not refined. They said at the top he had not been on stage in 87 days or something like that. So for him to be that vulnerable and be that honest and set the tone once again with, I think that was the first comedy show in North America since the shutdown. So, I mean, he is a force to be reckoned with, and he has established himself as what I would consider, you know, he toes that line very well.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to see it, Hank? Yeah. Did you see it yet?
Yeah, I saw it. the correlation between the dates, that was so insightful. You can tell that he's conscious, because he was saying dates and times where he had interactions with the same cops that caused the rift of what was happening. This is what I needed the celebrities do, and I'm gonna make it quick. If you're a celebrity, I want you to take your celebrity down and show us how it affected you. Because what he did was, he said, if I wasn't Dave Chappelle, I would have been that guy.
Yeah.
And when he said that, I was like, because sometimes you're in a bubble where you have a celebrity where it gets you a pass. So you're nowhere near what every day. That's why I don't want to say I'm a celebrity, but black man, I don't need to hear what celebrities are saying unless you're talking past that bubble. And that's right. And I went to the spot. I did a show in Dayton, Ohio, where they had that murder, all that mass shooting, and he was the first one to bring a concert to that city to revamp that whole city, man. So my hat's off to Dave Chappelle, man. Every time he comes through, dog, he comes through.
Yeah. Well, listen, what you thought, man?
Man, the special was brilliant, and like Rita Brent said, I do believe it felt like a State of the Union address. Dave Chappelle is what you call the perfect example of what it means to know your history, because he tied in a piece where he described who his great-grandfather was, or who his grandfather was, and what it meant. And he talked about his grandfather being somewhat of a revolutionary person. So the way he tied it in up into who he is right now and what he means to the culture is similar to that of what his great-grandfather or his grandfather meant to the culture back then. It was just simply brilliant. It was great to see him vulnerable. Like, Dave was very vulnerable. I almost had little tears in my eyes because I could tell Dave was super moved by it. And he brought up some very valid points. Like, why are people talking about the Chris Donner going off on the police and
I did my research on that today too. I did more research on that. I knew what he was doing, but I didn't know all the full details until today when I read his manifesto. Yeah, I didn't know.
And to be honest with you, when he talked about the police that were ambushed and shot in Dallas, Texas, by the other police officer that happened to be a black guy, if you go see, I think it was almost 6 white people that were shot and killed by this guy in Dallas. It's almost like you could say the same excuse that they used to say that they used and shoot us is the same excuse you could say that he used to shoot them. He feared for his life. He feared for his life.
Yeah. And then, like I said, that Christopher Donner, I was going to bring that up because I didn't know all the details to the date. Like, he brought up a good point.
I never read the manifesto myself.
Yeah, and now I'm not saying that what he did was right, but basically what he was saying is how all y'all came together. What is going on, everybody? Hey, how you doing? Happy whatever today is. I'm your host, Alton Walker. Welcome to That's Funny to Me. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to this show. I'm seeing your reviews and a lot of people saying this show is much needed. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you share. Share right now. Like, don't wait. Like, share it. Tell and tag 20 people. 30 people, tag 40 people right now. God gonna do something in your life. All right, I'm messing with you. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. You know, this is a show that we tackle a lot of issues that's going on in our society today. So, you know, I don't like to hold up no time. I want to bring on my experts. You already know them. You've seen it before. Let's start off with my good friend, Rita Brent. Rita, what's up with you? How you doing? What's going on, Sugarfoot?
What's up? How you doing?
You got the African...
I'm repping. Let's get it.
Rita got the African. Okay, we're going to come back to that. All right, man, we got, my next expert. Yes, I call them experts. My good friend, he's getting y'all teacher paid more money. Give it up for Hank Denson. Hank Denson.
How we doing?
What's going on with you, man? And, you know, my good friend, man, we also got another podcast together. You know, y'all see him. He's been on this show a couple of times. Another expert all the way from Nigeria by way of Arkansas. Give it up for Wellington Juku.
What up, y'all? Blessings, peace, and blessings. I hope everybody's doing great. We thank y'all for tuning in. It's your boy, Wellington Ojuku.
Hey, so, hey, what's going on there? I don't know what that was. Hey, what was the shoulders he was doing? What was that?
We know Wellington is a dancer, dude. So, you know, anytime he'll be like,
I like
yeah,
I am liking y'all shirts, man. Rita, both of y'all do have the pray hand shirts. I do notice that. Keep
what you say? Mine says pray for comedy.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You know, I got on my
keep calm and keep holding on.
I got on my, you know,
right.
civil rights movement shirt. Harriet
All right,
Tubman.
Wellington.
And
What you got
Wellington.
I got on a lion. It's a lion on my shirt because we the king of our jungles and we are the kings of our destinies. We are the kings and queens of our future and presence now. Amen.
Sound like you lying. It sound like you lying.
Sound like you
are lying. Hey, Rita said he got his shoulders. Rita said he got his Blue Lives Matter shirt on. All right, y'all, man. Let's just jump into it, man. I'm gonna tell y'all, you know, people are still out there protesting, and you know, still out there. You know, we got some people still burning down buildings and stuff like that. But we also got people out there twerking. How do you feel about the dancing going on at the protest? I'm gonna start with Wellington because he has a strong feeling about this. Now the twerking, I would say, you know, but how you feel? I'm gonna hold my opinion. What you feel, Wellington?
Let me say this. You cannot twerk for equal rights. It just is not going to happen. You understand? If that was the case, we would have been saved a long time ago by King of Diamonds, Blue Flame, Onyx, and Magic City. We would not be having these troubles if we could twerk our way into equal rights and some civil right justice. It just don't happen.
What are these places? Are these restaurants?
Coretta Scott ain't never been out there on the streets with a thong.
Hey, what you say? These what now?
Things didn't go right.
Are these black-owned restaurants? These names
you never heard of?
Well, these are gentlemen's clubs, sir. These are clubs where gentlemen go and they express their opinions and they network. It's a networking event that is normally held at these clubs. Networking events.
Okay. You know about a lot of them, man.
Gotta be important. Huh?
You know about a lot of these. You know about a lot of these gentlemen clubs, man. What's going on with you?
Well,
networking establishment.
That's what I hear from my constituents. My constituents who love to network and eat great wings. They have awesome wings. They have some of the best food that the city has ever seen. So.
I just think there's a time and a place.
All right, so Hank, man, what you feel about this twerking? What how you feel about it?
I mean, I think there's a time and a place. There's a time and a place for twerking or whatever, but we trying to be taken seriously. They already see us as dancing jigaboo kind of people. Anyways, I hate to say that, dog. But, you know, I went to 3 protests and there is like a rhythm to it. which is good, which is our people. But the whole, come on, sis, like, nah.
Rita, what you feel about your sisters, man? What's going on with them? How you feel?
First of all, I hadn't heard the word jigaboo in a long time. That is hilarious. You brought that word back. Okay. But I have a slightly different take on it. It may be comedic, but it feels strategic in a way. You know, what I want to do is see the stats. I want to see the stats. While they are twerking, are the statistics and occurrences of violence going down? If so, hey,
That is true.
It's a distraction. It is a distraction. So if that's what it takes to save lives, well, we do it again, Black people. We have to do. We got to be creative.
If
I'm like this,
working.
If twerking is working, I'm like this, man. Obviously, our young people need some direction, and Hank, you say it all the time. They have no direction, and before we judge,
let me clear that up. They have direction. They just move faster than we do. One thing they do, they don't play around with their emotions. They get to it. We got to have a meeting. We got to get a board, a chairman, a treasurer. We got to do all this committee stuff. When they say they're going to do it, there's one call, a text, a tweet. They show up, places burned down. Whatever they doing is done. They don't hesitate. That energy is amazing.
She didn't have no meeting. She definitely didn't have a meeting about.
She didn't ask nobody. She was just like,
well, they told me she called Pastor Wilson, and that's what was the result. That's what I heard.
Who's Pastor Wilson?
I would just say this.
Hey,
Google.
Hey, he's a jigaboo.
Oh,
he is
okay.
A jigaboo, a religious.
I would say
I just watched School Days, so that's been in my head all last 2 days.
Well, y'all pray for me, man, because I'm gonna put it like this, man. If they do a twerking for justice, I'm not for it. But I will go down and protect them, make sure they good.
We know you going. we know you going R&B dance. We know you down there.
After one of the girls had finished, what do they call it? Busting it wide open for the streets. Somebody said there was buffalo wing sauce left on the ground. I don't know what and how it got there, but somebody said it was buffalo wing sauce on the ground. So I just wanted to let y'all know.
I will say this before we move on. I don't mind the dancing, not the twerking, but the dancing, because I feel like Black people always have to hold back who we are. Like, we love to dance. We love to get out there and have, and enjoy each other. And so while protesting, we're mad, but we got together and want to do some electric slide. Why not? I mean, that's who we are. That's what we do. And I feel like we hold back what's in us. We look at it as bad because they told it that we shouldn't be dancing. Y'all doing
Well, they tell us not to do it, and then they steal it. They tell us not to do it, and then they steal it. So
I believe there's a time and a place. I believe there's a time and a place for everything. We ain't come all the way out here to line dance and two-step and do the Cupid shuffle on behest of somebody being shot and gunned down in the back. That's not something you dance about. You can keep that at the house. That's what they got nightclubs for. That's what they have discos for. It ain't a disco ball out there. It ain't a full liquor bar out there either. There ain't nobody out there serving Long Island iced teas at the march. So I believe there's a time and a place for it.
We're gonna say it, then we're gonna move on to the next.
I was gonna say that there's a balance for us. When we're protesting, it's very, very, and so at the end of my protest in Mississippi, they did the electric slide. There was a DJ out there just dancing. So it's like it's a balance emotionally, but also twerking is just oversexualized. You know, when you think about the roots of African dancing, it kind of is twerking, but it's not. So depending on where you are, this idea of twerking may or may not be frowned upon.
Man, I'm gonna get a shirt, twerking for justice. All right.
That's right.
All right. Moving on to the next topic. We had a mega pastor in Atlanta, Georgia. I believe his name is Louis Giglio. And he talks about how white people should feel about white privilege. I want to show the clip so y'all can get a feel of or so y'all can hear what he said. I'm pretty sure you saw the clip before, but just a reminder, this is a clip of him explaining white privilege.
But I want to flip that upside down, because I think the other side of it is true with our nation's history. We understand the curse that was slavery, white people do, and we say that was bad, but we miss the blessing of slavery, that it actually built up the framework for the world that white people live in and lived in. And so a lot of people call this white privilege, and when you say those two words, it just is like a fuse goes off for a lot of white people, because they don't want somebody telling them to check their privilege. So I know that you and I both have struggled in these days with, hey, if the phrase is the trip up, let's get over the phrase and let's get down to the heart. Sure. Let's get down to what then do you want to call it. And I think maybe a great thing for me is to call it white blessing, that I'm living in the blessing of the curse that happened generationally that allowed me to grow up in Atlanta. And, you know, you're talking about.
Yeah. I want to start with Rita. Rita, how did you feel about that? Because I know you grew up in church, and I think all of us pretty much got a church background in our families and stuff like that. But Rita, how did you feel about that?
It instantly made me cringe when he said white blessing, because what you do is you take away the seriousness of slavery and you turn it into something positive. A blessing, I don't care how you look at it, you say God bless you, be blessed, it's positive. So to turn around and make this something positive, it was very hard to watch, and it was even harder to hear Lecrae's response, which I felt was kind of neutral, and it was not stern enough. He should have called him out in a very stern way right there on the spot. But the preacher went back and said, you know, he didn't mean what he said. Well, yes, he did, and I'm actually glad he said it, because it's a way that a lot of people think, like, oh, well, this is a blessing. So now we're having a conversation about it. But it was very hard to watch.
Hey, how you feel? What's your thoughts on that video?
Dude, this is my first time seeing it, and I'm pissed off. To be honest with you, Lecrae sat there and he let that man say that. Slavery is not a choice. It's never been a choice. So it is not coherent with any kind of blessing. We did what we had to do. My ancestors had to do what they had to do to survive. A tyranny, somebody that's putting a foot on. Dude, I don't get. Okay, one thing I have a problem with, when people use God and slavery in the same conversation. I just think that just for him to say that it's a blessing because, oh, we were slaves, so it built up the infrastructure for you to continue to have white blessings, like that doesn't make sense. When I break down slavery, I'm thinking about black women losing their children, separating families, the structure of a family and all that stuff, to break a black man in front of his tribe, to take away his last name, to take away his language, to force another religion. Dude, there's so many levels of that are far from you saying now it is a blessing, and you're still treating the people the same way. That doesn't make any kind of sense. For you to be a man of God, to say that out your mouth, that's just like, you know what? It's a blessing R. Kelly peed on those girls. Are you crazy? That don't even make sense. Like, to say that out your mouth, and then I'm not giving. Look, I got plenty of white friends, cousins, family. I have white family. What I will tell you this is, the conversation cannot be tiptoed around now. It's too much.
Right.
It's
Head on.
2020. There's no dancing and tiptoeing around the facts of what it is and what we're going through right now. I have hard days every day just trying to focus and get myself through life as a black man. Okay? So when you sit up and you say it's a white blessing because of, dude, that is far from what you should have ever said at the mouth. And for a black man to stand there and go, yeah, I know. What did you understand? None of us have been through slavery. I haven't been through slavery. I have a mental slavery that puts a lot of stuff in my head. When I see little kids hide behind, put their hands up when a cop come in the room, or people get nervous every time a cop go by, I don't have that. There's so much little stuff, man, for you to stand on a national platform and say that. Man,
Wellington, what's your thoughts on it?
My stomach hurt.
I thought you seen the video before. I should have found that. I thought you.
I've been trying to filter myself away from all kinds of rhetoric, foolishness conversation about this because, like, I gotta function in my everyday. Like every day, I still gotta go out, and I don't want to keep all that negative energy in me. And then next thing you know, you're like, "Oh, we gotta go." Why? Hank pulled out his gun at Walmart.
Wellington, what's your thoughts?
Hey, I like what Rita said when it comes to the simple fact that I'm glad he said that because that's exactly how they feel. There's no need. We done with hiding your true feelings. You ain't got to apologize because that's who you are. That's how you feel. Now let us move away. When he said that, the conversation should have been over. Ain't nothing we can discuss because you too old and too grown to not know that what you said, to not be able to articulate your true feelings. You articulated your true feelings. Don't backpedal. Keep it like that. Two, they pick and choose the black people to have these conversations with. They pick and choose because I guarantee you they wouldn't have chose Farrakhan to have this conversation with. They would not have chose Farrakhan to have this conversation with. They would have not have chose somebody from the Nation of Islam who actually do this, who actually understand that the point of us having this conversation is to reach a solution. Solutions through actions. Otherwise, this conversation is pointless and it's just a way to make you feel good about yourself by hearing me out, by hearing me talk. Nah, we're not talking just so we can be heard. We're talking to reach resolution. We're talking for solutions. So for him to have that conversation, he picked and chose the right person because he wanted to control the narrative. And that's exactly what he did. He controlled the narrative. Lecrae just went, then he came back with his thoughts. We don't need you to come back with nothing. We understand who we're dealing with right now, and that's my take on that. Period. There's no need for these conversations without solutions.
That's right. When people show you,
I mean, and that's the main thing. The main thing I did agree with Rita. Like I'm glad he said it, and I felt like we finally had a white person to acknowledge white privilege. And that's what we need. I need you to acknowledge it. I need you to know that everything you have is because of us. And since you acknowledge it, pay up now. You know, that's how I feel. Like this is not a charity case no more. This is not a handout. You just said we are responsible for your success. Pay up, you know. But to hear a pastor compare a blessing to a curse, like he said, the curse of like God used a curse for a blessing. It's just you're telling me God was on your side when y'all was raping us and hitting us and hanging us. God was on your side when y'all blew up a church with 4 little girls, and you're telling me God was favoring y'all through all that. God was on your side. That's what you say when you use the word blessing. And I am tired, and I'm gonna say it. I am tired of the Christian world, especially black Christians, sitting back and I guess using the word forgiveness and patience and wait on the Lord and let the Lord fight your battle. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of those terms and those cliches. I feel like that's what white people have taught us, especially when it came to slave masters. You know, I had a conversation with another person, and he's a religious Christian person, and he was talking about how the Bible states how you have to obey the laws of the land. You know, the Bible says obey the laws of the land, and you have to respect our leader. God placed Trump in office. And I'm like, what? Then I wanted to cuss. I'm like, God didn't place Trump in office. Yeah, he allowed it. And we elected that fool. But for us to get into this mindset of we're going to forgive and be patient and let God do it and don't do anything to fight justice makes me mad. Like, Jesus broke laws. Everybody, I could name about 10 people that we follow and preach about that broke laws because those laws wasn't right. When the 3 Hebrew boys didn't bow down and pray, they broke a law. Jesus was on trial because he broke a law. And for us as Christians to sit back and let Master do what he do and don't say anything or don't be out on the forefront, it bothers me. And I think this forgiveness message has made us soft to sit back and do it nothing. Let God do it. And I had to get it off my chest. I'm sorry. But it makes me mad.
Hey, go ahead, brother. Let them have it. Let them have it. Because hiding behind that forgiveness is the act of a coward. Heaven help those who help themselves. That's the way it is. God gave you the ability to defend yourself. You don't just let somebody beat on you till you're dead. No, your parents did not spend all this time to raise you up just so you could give up without a fight. I don't know anybody's parents who would tell you to lay down and let somebody do you however they feel. Because bullies don't stop. Bullies do not stop because you want them to stop. You have to make them stop. And the only thing in this America here is the only thing that they understand in America here is cash flow. And if you're not talking, if you're not disrupting their cash flow, they're not trying to hear it.
And it's proven that they have used religion to keep us oppressed. They used it. Yes. You know, obey your slave masters. And it's in the Bible. You know, obey them who are over you. Like, it's proven. So I would not tell my people to sit up here and respect a Trump and we have to obey the laws of. I'm not. The laws are wrong. That's like me telling those people when Hitler was putting them in gas chambers. You know, you gotta obey them. You gotta respect them. No, I'm not. And I know
that's
we
why
on
they didn't want us to read.
And I'm not.
That's why they didn't want us to read, dog. They didn't want us to read because you can read. If you learn how to read, you can take apart all the stories. You can take apart you can find the facts. That's the thing. Like half the time, you know, and that's the running joke. Black people don't read. Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah. You don't read. If we read more, then it would be like, oh, half the time if somebody black run down the street, we don't even ask a question. We start running too.
Yeah, and for this white, and I'm gonna leave this alone. With this white preacher doing this, and if black leaders and black preachers don't speak up against this white preacher is basically, in a way, it's almost like you're trying to make white people feel okay with white privilege, you know.
Yeah,
I seen the pastor of E. Dewey Smith. Pastor E. Dewey Smith posted a email. I don't know if it was an email, but it was of a pastor or a colleague that said, you know, basically he was saying, I will not. I wasn't born with white privilege. I was born with the favor of God. And I will not apologize for what people did to a race 400 years ago. So you just told me it's a favor of God. So if we got white leaders teaching their people that to make them feel okay, I'm tired of that. I'm tired of white people wanting to feel okay, wanting to feel better, and want us to stroke their ego. Like, all white people, we're not like that. Listen, your race did it. I'm not talking about you personally. And I'm not going to sit here and make you feel okay so you can feel that you're a good person. I'm not doing that no more. All right, I better get up. I better move on.
But the thing is, you keep saying, and I understand, you keep saying did, like in past tense. They're doing it. They're doing it.
You're right. You're right.
It is not, you know, like I said, we have never, you know, people haven't had slaves. We are not in the form of slavery. There's a lot of stuff going on that we're slaves of. But they're doing it now. That's what all of
you made a valid point.
That's what's going on now. You know, if you look at your interest rate on your house, if you look at just the bills you have, the stuff you gotta pay, you know, your wages. If you look at even in comedy, just the fact that, what do you have to do to be seen as a black comedian and you're funnier than your other comedians. What happens? You know, it's like we got to do so much, and the only thing we've been controlling is because we got numbers now, and because you got numbers and put butts in sick. Now they want to have a conversation. But I've been the same person. You've been the same person. Why can't I get what you gave the other dude? Why can't I get what you gave her? You gave her a radio TV. You gave her a special. Based on what? What was her merit? Oh, well, she was the look we were going towards. The look? What does that mean?
The look. Yeah. All right, man. We're going to move on to the next one, man. I thought this was a very important topic. Breonna Taylor. And I want to ask Rita this question. Do you feel like Black women are being overlooked when it comes to the movement?
I'm going to say yes. You know, there's a hashtag out there called Say Her Name, hashtag Say Her Name, which is dedicated to Black women who have also died at the hands of police. But when you think of a Breonna Taylor, when you think of a Sandra Bland, we are forgotten because you don't always see our murderers on camera. And I think that has a lot to do with it. You know, there was footage of what happened between George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin. There was footage of what happened with Philando Castile. There's footage of, you see George Floyd, the situation happening. So I think there's a little disconnect because we aren't seeing the brutalization of Black women. That's my first point. But the second point is, you know, there's misogyny, even in racism. And sometimes a lot of times women just take a back seat, no matter what it is, no matter what it is. I read somewhere statistically that Black women are victims of the most homicides. And that's not a talk point you hear of all the time. You hear about this crap like Black on Black crime, you know, the real things are not being talked about. So I'm glad that there are women and people on the front lines still trying to keep Breonna Taylor's name in the forefront. Hashtag Say Her Name. So it helps when we have allies and people all over social media saying, hey, let's not forget about these Black women. We just have to keep the conversation going. Otherwise, you know, women will be put on the back burner like we often are.
Yeah. Wellington, how you feel about that? What's your thoughts?
That's exactly what's happening as far as them not seeing Black women being killed on film. So a lot of times it's easier for them to forget that it actually happened because they didn't see it happen on film. Whereas videos like George Floyd, this murder porn that they got going on was circulated over and over again. And I didn't even watch the video. I haven't watched the video because I don't want to watch it. I don't want to continue to watch us being killed. It shouldn't take that the public should have to see us being murdered in order to take the murder seriously. But it seems to be the only thing that's moving the needle. And that's crazy. And it's absurd to me. So yes, a lot of Black women are being overlooked because there is misogyny and racism. It is what it is. But this again lets us know that we can't just be quiet, we can't be silent, and we must all use our platforms. Take a break from posting your model pictures or posting your flat tummy tees and your waist trainer bullet points. Take a break from all that and post Say Her Name. Post Breonna Taylor, because I see that's exactly what Alicia Keys did. It's exactly what Queen Latifah did. They all did. Do you know who she is? And her mother's, telling her and letting people know who she is and not to forget her name. And this is what it takes. It's sad, but this is what it takes. We have to all do it together, So we can't keep overlooking the fact that they are overlooked. We have to put work in and we have to do it all together.
Hey, what's your thoughts on that?
I think that it is. They have put the women on the back because Sandra Bland, a couple of other people, they're revisiting those cases. You got to understand, most people live 50 miles inside the perimeter of their neighborhood. That you live within 50 miles. In that 50 miles, you only take in the information that's in your area. Like most of us, we travel all over the world, the country, doing comedy. So we're kind of versed on getting information and fact checking when stuff is said or doing follow up on stuff that's happening so we can have the full story. Basically, if you put it like this, if you're somebody who watches Fox or you watch only NBC, you're only getting the information that runs on that channel. So you're not seeing anybody else. So George Floyd was it, but Breonna Taylor's case was going on. Then you notice how Aubrey's case, nobody's talking about Ahmaud Arbery no more. It's just like, it's kind of like whatever we can grab and throw in front of your face for now to move this agenda that way or move something this way. No one's, and it's like these people, the dudes that got hung, I didn't know anything about the gentleman being hung in California. Didn't know anything about this preacher who talked the other day because I'm only watching a certain amount of content. So in that retrospect, we have to just get the list of names and keep pushing them because that's definitely what happens. And I don't think it's just because she's female. I think it's because the information or video isn't something that could be grabbed and reshared. Because soon as you get a piece of video, it's popping over and over again. Like there's some videos that pop in my inbox and somebody's like, hey, share it for me because they keep taking it down. And I'll be like, what? Well, what's the video? And I see it. I'm like, yo, when did this happen? This happened last month. Right. And I'm like, are you serious? They're like, yeah, man. So I just got it 2 weeks ago. I didn't know that. So the thing is, we push on media so much. Media, TV, we depend on so much, but we have the power. We have the power. We just don't know how to orchestrate it at all. If you can see the way D-Nice saved the internet, if a DJ can save the internet, if Versus can save Instagram, we definitely know how to move our news around and to keep it constant.
Right. Cool. All right, we with this Rayshard Brooks situation going on, man, they have placed charges on the cops. But I was looking at first, I want to applaud Mayor Keisha Lansbottom, man. I'm sorry, man. We must applaud that woman. She's doing a great job to me. I think she is quick on her decisions. We have been the only city to put officers to place charges on officers in a quickly fashion. Like Breonna Taylor, it's been almost 2 months. So I do want to applaud Keisha. I am praying that she stays safe and all that good stuff. But
she's putting the pressure on him.
She's putting the pressure on. But I was looking at this video of this dude, the Sheriff Alonzo Williams. I want y'all to look at this video and tell me what y'all think about this video. If he'll play, he basically tried to justify the killing, and it kind of made me mad.
The likelihood of him being stomped in the head or having his firearm taken and used against him was a probability, and so he did what he needed to do, and this was a completely justified shooting.
So you think lethal force here was necessary?
It's very necessary. The Fourth Amendment allows it. This is the objective reasonableness standard, and there's nothing malicious or sadistic in the way these officers behaved, and it's very unfortunate that the law enforcement leaders in the state of Georgia have not come out and stood together on this case.
Wellington, I'm gonna let you. Wellington, I'm gonna let you attack first, man. What's your thoughts on that, man?
Hey, we all know we've seen this same pattern throughout history over and over again. When white cops mess up, bring the black guy out to make white people feel good and justify their feelings of feeling, hey, he's not wrong. Don't worry about that. He did what he had to do. They always send black people to do that. So we'll look upon it and be like, maybe he was wrong. Well, we're not falling for the okie doke anymore. He was wrong. According to DA, even according to the district attorney, Paul Howard, he was wrong because you can't tase a man while they're running away because they will fall to the concrete. You cannot tase a person in the back. So you definitely, and like the district attorney said, you definitely cannot shoot a man in the back while he is running away. He was no danger or threat to the police officer because the taser he had already been discharged and the police officer was well aware of that. So
Yeah,
he's
both
wrong
was already discharged.
factually.
Yeah.
Factually, he's wrong. Morally, he's wrong. And that moon cricket can go sit on a rock off a cliff in the water. He is wrong all the way around. Period.
What is a moon? What is a moon cricket?
That dude's a moon cricket. That's what they look like.
I never heard of a moon cricket in my life. What is?
He is. Just know that the moon cricket is the property of the white folks, and he is the property of white folks. He's singing for them too.
I like that a lot more than coon. I like moon cricket. I can get behind that.
Moon cricket. Hank, have you come in contact with people that that have disagreed with this, with the action of the police? That that said that, because I had comments on the minds.
I had a conversation with a lawyer last night, and he was breaking it down to me how many wrong things that the officer did, and he was like, "What it is? This I just like Wellington. I agree with Wellington. As soon as something go down, here they come with this dude with the K&G jacket, just waving them all in our face. Oh yeah, he real. Georgia need to be ashamed. And come on, man. Look, let me tell you something.
Where the jacket came from?
That K&G, the front of the store, that's that K&G, the front. When you get in there, right near the cologne, it be right in there. That's that. He be like, I'm going to kill him with this one. They don't even see it. Show. And look, dude, it's crazy how it goes down all the time. I'm just waiting for the dude to just go, man, you know what I mean? Look, it's like, it put it like this. The procedure of everything they do is called procedure, right? Why is it that we have to, he had to stay calm during all, and I don't know why he just started to fight or whatever, but look, what happened to all the technology that we have? If the man had to let him run off, why are you chasing him, shooting him? 1. 2, you in shape, right? He been drinking. He can't even drive. He's inebriated. You've already had the facts that he did not pass the test. So you have his license, you know his car, tow his car, go to his house with a warrant. What are we doing? Like, that doesn't even make you, what kind of sheriff did you need to be where I'm going to take what you didn't want to get clowned when you went back to the precinct? Yo, that dude beat both of y'all up. If that's the case, you need to swallow that. But dude, what you did was unnecessary. You could have, and look, I'm not a cop, right? But Secret Service, they wear 5, 6 guns on them, right? They got to take a bullet for somebody they don't even like. And they're trained to be discreet.
That's an amazing job, man.
GBI, let's talk to GBI. GBI, all this. I don't want to hear no cops talking about cops. Let's let GBI talk about how you didn't handle it, because they're trained and they usually go to the FBI. The level of training to see the situation. You got these dudes that didn't make the soccer team, and then they out here, they like, yo, I'm going to do what I got to do. You had his license. He moved the car. You knew he didn't charge. Just like Rita said, he had already charged it. He had already shot twice. So that he's running away. Wait to go to his house. You can take a cell phone and find him. You can find him with a cell phone.
Yeah.
Come on,
Rita,
man.
what you thought about just the whole situation with this Rayshard Brooks?
I saw the video because I can't not watch, because I feel like I need to be informed. So I saw the video and I immediately thought, oh, people are going to say this was justified because he was fighting with the officers and because he ran, right? But why is it that restraint is only reserved for white offenders? When a white person is fighting the police, I saw a situation where a white man took the police officer's baton and started beating them with it. One of them had a gun and he was running with it, and they still somehow found the ability to restrain themselves and apprehend this man peacefully. How come that restraint is only reserved for white people, white offenders? And it's like, threat only comes in black. You only feel threat when it's a black person on the other side. That is frustrating to me. It's extremely frustrating. The key word is lethal force. You knew he was unarmed. So why are you using lethal force? Learn how to fight, white people. That's what it boils down to. White people do not know how to fight. They don't know how to fight. They pride get in the way, and they like that's what happened with George Zimmerman. He was getting mollywopped. George Zimmerman was getting mollywopped by Trayvon Martin, and as a coward, because he couldn't fight, even though he hunted him down, he shot him. You know, so white people need to learn how to fight. But as for the sheriff,
they should know better, right, Rita? I've seen so many deer get up on the back of their legs and smack a hunter in the face. And you got to shoot.
Hey, they got beat up. They got beat up. Rayshard handled both of them, and they pride got in the way.
You got beat up by an inebriated man. Like he was drunk and he still beat y'all up. But the sheriff, he had a racist accent and his jacket was racist. His accent was racist and his jacket was racist. So he said whatever. Anytime you get a black man talking like this, yeah, it was just bad, all right. Anytime you talk like that, I don't want to hear what you got to say.
Anytime I see sheriffs like that come out there, and as soon as it's almost like they be so excited to let white people know, you's okay. He was right. He had every right to pull that gun out and show him who the boss is. He ain't had no right to run away.
Hey, I want to see that jacket again, man. Can you pull that jacket up again? It says, hey, I want to see this jacket one more time. Because I
love him being stomped in the head or
look at it. He's like,
any sheriff with that jacket I don't trust. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Exactly.
I don't think sheriffs should wear.
And it's summer. You got a mock neck on. You in Burke, Georgia. It's 90 degrees. I don't trust you.
You know he got.
That was his Cheesecake Factory jacket.
He got the what?
He got the belt and the shoes to match, like Pops on a boomerang. Gerard, did you know your dad had on the mushroom belt? That's what kind of jacket that is. He coordinated.
You got a coordinate.
I never paid attention to his outfit until today.
As soon as I saw him, I was like, "Oh, he gonna say exactly what everybody want to hear." Look at that jacket. I hate to judge people. But that jacket said, "I'm gonna tell."
The racism with the jacket.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what they gave him after the show? They gave him two pans of string bean casserole for him to go home with. They gave that man string green bean casserole to go home with, take home to his lovely wife, and a pan of fudge brownies.
And a shepherd's
Oh my God. All right. I want to close out with this one, man. We are entertainers. You know, we got the NBA, the NFL, everybody, you know, they're looking to come back and start the leagues up, but you have players that are looking to boycott. They're saying that, you know, it's not a time to, like Kyrie Irving saying it's not a time to play because it's going to distract people from what we're trying to do. Hank, how do you feel about bringing back entertainment? You got the BET Awards coming. I know.
Dude, we don't need none of those distractions. We need comedy, but we do not need distractions. We don't need sports. We don't need basketball. Just put it like this. All it does is lock us in because comedy is the free press. It's the voice. Yeah. Like Dave Chappelle, whoever's talking, that's comedy. We need to do that. And what has happened with comedy is you can't be the same person saying life, today I got high. And then people don't want to hear that. People are going to be like, what are you talking about? You're going to say something about what's going on. You're going to say something about the pandemic. All that middle ground you talking about, I'm trying to lose weight. Shut up. Nobody ain't asked you none of that. Give us some funny that has something to do or some commentary that what's going on in this world today. But dude, basketball, are you missing it? Do you miss football? Honestly, are y'all missing it? Do you miss it?
Not one bit.
I ain't hear nobody at home crying, talking about, man, come on, I want to see Kevin Durant play. Nobody. I ain't heard nobody saying anything about
Right.
sports. And they guarantee money.
Yeah.
I think in the case of sports, I think the momentum is gone anyway for the season. If they were to bring it back, it's going to be some kind of adjusted thing that they're bringing. So it's not even going to have the same. And I also think the Lakers were going to win a championship this year. So I really, really hope that the NBA doesn't come back, because I don't want LeBron to win no chip with the Lakers. So I'm on Kyrie's side.
Wait a minute, man.
LeBron done built up the Avengers over there. He got Anthony Davis and all these folks, and he was getting ready to win a championship. So I'm really glad.
What's wrong with LeBron winning the championship?
No, you don't get to go to 7 different teams and win a championship. That's not honorable. That's not honorable. Also, COVID is still alive, so I don't think good for us to be in these condensed areas. I don't think it's good for us to be at these award shows and things like that, because COVID is just gonna be lingering over the people. It's gonna be lingering. When praises go up now at church, germs come down. I'm not going. I'm not going.
That's right.
Praise go up, germs go.
COVID is at every event like this. They in there.
Yes.
Y'all ready?
Yes.
Let's go in there. They in there. They don't know no better.
Look how close they are. Yeah, they.
Let me put this out. Let's go on in there.
Wellington, are you for the NBA? Are you coming back? Are you for entertainment coming back?
Hey man, at this point, it's like white people love to see us dance and play basketball. They don't want to hear us talk. Now that we done got to talking, because we are searching for a resolution, they can't wait to get us back on the field. Hey, start up the game, start up the basketball. Let's get all this talking. We done with all that right now. And what I don't really like about what's going on is that we are overlooking the fact, because we have so much of this shooting going on, we're overlooking the other areas that need to be addressed, like the mortality rate of Black women in hospitals. Why are they offering so many C-sections to Black women every time they come in? Why are they giving them poor medical advice? Why are they constantly seeking to do this to why is the mortality rate higher for Black women? Because they are not. This needs to be addressed. All these issues, every corner. In entertainment, the systemic racism needs to be addressed in entertainment. The systemic racism needs to be addressed in the healthcare. They gave my brother hell when he was going. He just graduated as a physician assistant. He's got a certificate. He's qualified. But they gave him hell. He was the only Black man in this class. The only Black man. And they gave him hell. They went to his Facebook to bring him up on the board about a confrontation that he had with a white man in the clinic. So these things need to be addressed, and we keep overlooking it because we still focus on this one thing, but it's so many other areas that we need to address. And I want Black women, the mortality rate, it has to stop. It's constantly recommending C-sections to Black women and not stapling them up correctly. There are women that have not even been stapled up. A woman died with a sponge in her, and the doctor told her that was procedure. She died with a sponge in her. So these things have to be addressed, and that is important because they're killing the men in the streets and they're killing the women in the hospitals. And we 13.5% of the population, but for some odd reason, they're threatened by 13.5% of the population. How? Why?
Right.
It has to stop.
They were saying that there's a line of miscommunication with Black women's pain threshold. Tell your brother I said congratulations. I used to be a PA in pediatric orthopedics, so I understand what you go through when you gotta walk a line to get into certain practices to work. Like I worked in Alpharetta, Dunwoody. There's a level of, you got to walk a different line, man, just to get in to work in these practices. And then, you got malpractice insurance and a lot of stuff that as a higher level of requirement as a Black. A lot of the orthopedic practices that are here, they don't take on Black PAs, but some of the best medical schools are here in Georgia. Grady is a level 1 trauma center, which does some of the top surgeries and top-notch procedures in the country. My wife does total knee and hip surgery, and she's probably one of the only few black women who does the procedures that she does across the world. And she does robotics and all that. And there's always a conversation that me and her have about her being a black female. And she broke down the whole line about treating and how they treat our kids and everything. Disparaging and stuff about food deserts. There's so much stuff. Like Wellington said, there's so many details. There's a list of stuff of how we need to have better conversations. My concern is about what our kids know. My thing is the educational sector. I put my face in front of white and black teachers as a black male that doesn't have I don't have an educational degree, to understand that the black kid in your classroom becomes me, becomes you, Alvin, becomes you, Wellington, becomes you, Bree. And we need that opportunity to not judge us by what you think is going on at our house. I saw a teacher post, black people are unprivileged, but your kid is wearing $200 J's and you can't bring supplies to the school. And then you get assistance, and then you get free WIC, and then you get a Section 8 housing, and then you get, well, look, just think about what is happening. None of the education, all the stuff. We ain't always standing around for a handout, and we're not the only people getting a handout.
They get way more handouts than us.
So stop putting it in the position, and we live in these neighborhoods, and it's just so much, man, it's so many details. So I would rather not watch basketball. I would rather not
at this time.
Football. I would rather not, if you don't have to bring it back.
Yeah, I mean, I think feel like at this time,
you do need to go to a comedy show, though. You do need to laugh.
Yeah, definitely need to do that now. You need to, if you're gonna do anything, cut everything out but comedy. You know, we're not saying that because we're comedians. We're saying that because one, we are comedians, and
we know what the energy is. But you know what I mean? We know what the energy is.
But we bring information, and I think right now we're at a time where the world is listening, and it's time for us to speak up because there's a lot of stuff going out. I mean, I don't know if y'all read the NBC News. It was talking about how the COVID-19 vaccine will only work if trials include black participants. You know, like they putting this information out, and if we're not talking about it because we had a basketball game or we worried about who's getting the title, we're going to miss out on a great opportunity. And right now, like everybody said, it feels different this time. So I do think we need to take advantage.
Let's not do that. They want us to shut up and dribble. Wellington is right. I agree with that.
Yeah. Man, I thank y'all so much, man, for another That's Funny to Me episode. Y'all, man, you know, I love y'all, man. Y'all some brilliant people.
I love y'all too. Y'all are brilliant. Y'all are excellent. This is necessary. I ain't got my giggles. Y'all done filled my laugh tank up. It's always good to be around some brilliant, great-spirited minded peoples. And thank you very much for having us, brother.
Yes. No problem. Listen, thank y'all so much. Thank you for tuning in. I do want to close out with a video of Rayshard Brooks, and maybe this video will let you know why, maybe why he ran away, or why he was trying to get away from those cops. And we'll end with that video. Thank y'all again for tuning in. I'm Alton Walker, Rita Brent. Thank you, Hank Denson, Wellington Juku. Make sure y'all go follow them. Thank y'all for tuning in to another That's Funny to Me. We'll close out with a message from Rayshard Brooks.
You know, full-time carpenter, you know, have 3 beautiful daughters, you know, and being incarcerated, it has impacted my family by, you know, just me not being there, the time, you know, the bills, you know, me just being there, you know, for my kids, you know, teaching them, helping them with the homework, you know, helping raise them, you know, and my daughter, sometime, you know, I have to, you know, it just, you know, like, it's kind of hard, you know, because by me being incarcerated, you know, it's taken away from them as in me being present, you know. And when you're away, you know, it's like the saying, out of sight, out of mind.
Now, I would suggest, like I said, you can look at the rest of that video. You just talk about probation and how, you know, they look at them as an animal. You know, once you get incarcerated, you looked at as an animal, not a human being. And as you can see, that night at Wendy's, those two officers didn't look at Rayshard Brooks as a human being. They definitely looked at him as an animal, as a threat. When he was a man, a family man, a man that had a wife and kids. And what if he just was trying to get back home to his family because he was away from them so long? So before you judge a man by his decisions, by his resistance, make sure you understand there's a reason why that happened. So RIP to Rayshard Brooks and the rest of the people that are, and families, let's pray for their families, the people that lost their lives due to police brutality or racism. I'm Alton Walker, man. Thank y'all again for tuning in. God bless you. See you next week.